Bashim Regagadas, the water Yahweh, the water Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Shlaki Yahweh, for my sin that I cry, the water Yahweh, for the Akim that you supply, the water Yahweh, for the aqua that comply, Barakatha Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, to your love all the time, Babakashai Yahweh, for your mercy all the time, Kol Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai. Shalom, 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 shalom. It's your brother, Obadiah Yahweh Kananan, and we are back at you this afternoon with a lesson. And this particular lesson is going to be quite interesting in reference to the content of information that is going to be presented. Of course, we've been doing a lot because the Most High is doing so much of everything all the time. So as he is progressively moving us through the transitional prophetic process that we're involved in, at the same time, we are looking to navigate through this process by his hand, which is what he's doing all the time. His hand is continuously in the process of moving us through prophecy. If you're not akin to or understanding that this is the nature of where we are and where we're going to be going, then he has you spiritually blocked for a reason. That reason, I don't know. I can't give you an answer for that reason why he has you spiritually blocked at this present time. Predestination could be the only thing that I can imagine that would really be in play for that situation. And the only thing I can say in that regard is praise, worship, and prayer, it being the earnest thing that you would have to look at in terms of you possibly getting a relief from that situation. That's all I can really come with, because other than that, he's got you exactly where he has you, and he's got me exactly where he has me as well. I want to definitely give my salutations to the hopeful elect that are out here striving as best they can, highways, byways, on the unicorn of information, and bringing forth the information that has been predetermined for them to do so. And that's imperative that that has to be spoken of in the way that the Most High has us designated to do so. I want to give, my admiration, my full respectful admiration to the apostles who've been bringing this truth out for decades in and decades out. We all are operating in the body of Hamashiach, Yahushua Hamashiach, in the best way that we have been predetermined to do so. And in the process also give that respect and that admiration to the elders and the bishops and individuals that have been also diligently operating within the truth and the sacred name of YAHAWAH Shem Yahushai. We want to definitely give mention and respect to the scattered elect that are everywhere, all over the entire earthly plane, and the fact that they are in that capacity. We need make note of their attributes and their offerings that they're trying to give as they are brought to the understanding and the awakening as being part of the elect. Okay. As I said, my Latin glasses on here so we can definitely be in sync with understanding what we're reading here. The title of the lesson is the sinews of YAHAWAH are in part being applied now towards our new formation of creation. Now, this is going to be interesting to bring forth this information about sinews. And Most High, YAHAWAH, put it in my spirit, welled up in my spirit to say that I should speak in terms of the sinews as being portions of the attribute of activity that is happening currently and has been progressively moving forward as prophecy is unraveling at this time on all creation. But in specific, we're going to key in on the Israelites, of course, and because everything starts in terms of judgment and everything else with the house of Israel first. Let me, first I'm going to give you a little bit of a definition of sinews so that you can get in line with that, right?
Sinew.
Right. So a sinew, it says here, as in strength, the ability to exert effort for the accomplishment of a task. That's somewhat where we're going to go in terms of our explanation. But not only are we going to talk about the ability to exert effort for the accomplishment of a task, what task are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the task that the predestinated portion of how YAHAWAH Hashem Yahushua has put on. Specifically, we're talking about the selected elected that have been awakened at this time. And then we're going to also shadow information on the 2/3, the 1/3 and the 2/3 as well, in terms of the sinews being put back on them. Now, the sinews also have a relative explanation in as far as the synonyms are concerned, if you know what synonyms are, similar words, and the relevancy of that. For instance, sinews can offer an ability of strength, power, energy, vigor, capacity. Also, I guess you could look at it as potency, competency, and aptitude, usefulness, effectiveness, adequacy, and also stubbornness. That's a key factor that we're going to see in terms of the sinews. So the functionality and the power of the sinew in terms of the way that it's operating in our understanding here is very relevant to where we are going to explain how, as best YAHAWAH Hashem Yahushua gives me to do so, Shalaki, on how the sinews are being applied to the something that I think you're going to understand. It's something new, not necessarily new, but something that Father brought to my attention, which is our new formation of creation. When it comes to our new formation of creation, I think that a lot of us are misconstrued about what it is that we're actually going through as far as the process is concerned. I think we're missing the mark on that in quite a bit of a major way, and I think that what we need to understand is why are we missing the mark on the fact that the sinews are being put upon us in the way that they are, and in lieu of that situation happening, we're finding that, or we're complaining about the fact that we believe that what the Most High is doing, is not being readily understood at this particular time for a lot of people. You know, when I say that, what I mean is, all right, put that down for a minute. Okay. The Most High has opened up the understanding and the volume of our knowledge about prophecy that's moving forward. But one of the things that I think that we're missing quite effectively is the fact that the sinews of understanding that are being put upon us and that are becoming part of the awakening towards prophecy, they're not including everything that the Father is doing. What do I mean? I mean everything he does, he completely is in total control of, and he has predetermined it. We're in a situation where I would say some of us have the understanding that all things at all times are being controlled by the Most High, and he didn't just set things in motion and then sit back and let it run its course. He's not doing that. And I've said this over and over again, but it's there's still I would say a substantial amount of spiritual blockage that the Father has applied, and it all is still predestinated in reference to how it is applied, in terms of what we are able to understand and to reveal and to operate within. And I believe strongly that part of this process is being shadowed and shown in reference to the way that a lot of the men who are of the selected, elected, and those in that capacity are bringing forth their rendition, their interpretation, their breakdowns of all of what the Most High YAHAWAH is doing, and the way in the way that he is operating through his Son, and in that process, I think that what we're missing is that, and just trying to get this, I'm trying to explain this without causing any confusion. What we're missing is that if you understand that he controls all things at all times, and that there's nothing that is being done that is not within and under his complete control with Yahawashi and the angels, what is our position? What position should we be in reference to our participation when it comes to that particular understanding? What should you be doing, and what should you be saying that brings forth a form of understanding that's going to be relevant to how you move and the things that you do in honoring Yahweh Bashim Yoshai? You know, what should you be doing? How should you be operating? Should you be an individual that every time a situation or a scenario presents itself that is uncomfortable, or that is causing you to feel a level of discomfort, and in the process you get despondent and you talk in reference to saying things about how you wish that all of this was over, and how much you hate the process that's happening to a degree. I mean, you may not be saying directly that you hate that you hate the process, but you're expressing the fact that this is becoming quite an unbearable situation for you in reference to the way that you're living in prophecy that's actually happening at this present time. And so what is this doing to you in reference to your obedience, which is your sacrifice to Yahweh Shem Yahushai? If you have an issue with the sinews that are being put on the dry bones, and we're going to explain this a little bit about this in Ezekiel chapter 37. We're going to get through verse 1 through 14, and And also, we're going to talk to Job 10 and 11. But he gave me this to say, he's putting the sinews of understanding and information and knowledge at this present time in this fallen state on those that are operating in this prophetic timeline. Now that doesn't exclude anything that's going on, and that also includes all creation. Now, when I know all creations to some degree can have forms of sinews. It's like, when it talks about in Job about the behemoth and his cedar and his tail and how big he is and the sinews that he has, that he operates with. And then of course sinews have inclination to speak to various types of horticulture and various types of other creatures and individuals that are linked to the ability to create movement, the ability to create a functionality of competent movement forward. But you also have to understand, if you are being sinuized, if I could say that, I hope I don't get in trouble with that word. If you're being sinuized, or your sinews are being presented at this time, it's a good thing. It's a special thing but why? Okay, you say, okay, but why, Obadiah? How's it a good thing when so much consternation, wickedness, and also the inclination of contention against this truth of ours that is being presented? Why is this something that from the Most High YAHAWAH Shem Shai putting the sinews back on the dry bones? Why is this an issue? Well, it's an issue because you're not I think you're not completely dialed into the Father in terms of what the Heavenly Father is doing in terms of how he set his timeline up, in his prophetic timeline up. And the scriptures that he gave me are going to line up this information to a great degree to kind of give you this inclination so you know where we're going. But what I'm trying to tell you is, everything that is being done, okay, all the agendas, everything you're witnessing, everything you're experiencing, everything you're going through at this particular time, it's as needs be. Like YAHAWAH said in Matthew, he told us that the end is not yet, but everything that's happening, roughly paraphrased, is what needs be. It has to happen because it's all predetermined to happen. And so if you're upset with, and I'm going to continue to hit this because the Father keeps pounding on me about it, I'm going to continue to hit it. If you're upset with the way that he is taking this system to its prophetic end, who are you upset with? I mean, just let's look at spiritual reasoning. I mean, really, if you have some really, really difficult time and problem with the level and the nature of Jake and as we call them NYs, NYs and NWYs and whatever. If you really have a major problem with the way that the Most High is taking everything to its completion, think about it. If you are in a state where all you do is buck up against how the Father's doing this because you seem to have some major displeasure with the way he's taking everything down, when he told you that he has to do it this way, that he's doing it this way. Everything has to go totally to shit. But you can't. But what are you having a problem with the way he's doing it? So if you spend time utilizing the spiritual edifying knowledge that you have to complain about the way individuals are doing what they've been predetermined to do, then who do you have a problem with? What is your real problem? Because everybody that is doing something bugged totally to freak out, and everybody that's doing something that's even worse or close Who has to, somebody got to do this stuff for us to get out of here. It has to be a position where you have to have all of these dichotomies of all of these categories of all of what's happening in prophecy for us to get out of here. So you could complain about it, which, if that's what you're doing, then who are you complaining to? Because the Most High, the Heavenly Father already told you that he's going to do all this with all of these individuals that you have some level of consternation in terms of how they're associated with this prophetic move forward. It all has to go horribly wrong for us to get out of here. Nobody's going to go all the way back to the law. Nobody's going to be completely righteous. Nobody is going to be able to say, we are doing everything right and everybody else is all fucked up. You got to understand, this is the sequence and the process that he set in motion before the foundation of the world. It's got to go in this manner. So if you are complaining about it, or if you're showing some disdain for the way he's doing it, who are you mad at? Who are you complaining about to? Are you putting this in the face of Yahawah? Is that what you're saying? I'm so despondent and I'm so sick of this, that, and the third. I'm sick of Jake. I'm sick of Jake. Who are you? Who am I? We don't count in that manner because we have no power to change anything. You can complain and you can cite and you can do all the stuff you're doing because you got to do it anyway, because that's all part of the presentation of your role as being a selected elected, whether you are a teacher, whether you're a prophet, whether you're an apostle, you are predetermined to do this. Now, what would possibly make it a little bit easier for you is if you praise, worship, and pray to Yahawah B'Hashem Yahushua. You praise, worship, and pray to the Most High to incorporate the ability for you to do contrast so you can tell them the difference between this is what's going on and this is our Father doing all of this stuff. He's doing it all. He started it, he's going to finish it. And everything in between, he's doing all of it. So if you tailor some of what you say to that part of the process, it might even take a little bit of stress off your own ass. If you have that foundational understanding. Foundationally, the Father has set all of this in motion, predetermined before the foundation of the world. Everything, everybody, everything has been determined. It all has been determined. Come on, I'm going to argue with you or yell at you about this too much. Because, I've been doing that, but he's telling me, don't even yell at him no more. Don't argue with him. Just tell him. He already did it all. You already have the end of the book. You got the Genesis and you got the Revelation. And you got everything in between. So he's already told you how it starts and how it ends. Are you so spiritually, mentally blocked that you can't see that part? It's already been determined. What you should be doing is being a contrast delivered perspective presenter. A contrast delivering the truth in perspective and deliver that in a presentational fashion that makes sense. You know he's doing it. You know he controls all of it. You cannot and dare not say he's not in control of everything. So he's puppetized Esau and everything else that you got going on to happen exactly the way it's happening. And so if you say it and you tailor your information to express this part of the information, you won't be so despondent, I guess. I don't know, or stressed out, or this won't bother you as it shows sometimes with the way you deliver information. It won't bother you because you'll be like, okay, all right, whatever's going on, the Most High is doing it. He puppetized Esau to do this. He puppetized Jakes to do that. He got IUIC doing this. He got Sakari and Gorilla and all the rest of these individuals doing it. They're all determined to do this already. What the hell's your problem? This is what he's doing. This is how we get out of here. If these individuals that are doing this stuff aren't determined to do it, who's going to do it, and then how we going to get out of here? And when I say get out of here, I mean get out of this mess, which also throws me into the conversation about, if you know he covers and controls and handles and does everything and has the handle on everything that's happening, he's dealing with everybody. So there is no, he ain't dealing with you. Okay, now I believe that when he's speaking about that the Lord ain't dealing with you, he has to be talking contrastly. He should be offering to us, which is, I believe that if you in the truth and you're in the elect, you can possibly pick this up. But it's still good to say it. Okay, if it's said that YAHAWAH Shem YAHAWAH ain't dealing with you, what's being meant is in the spiritual capacity of what should be given as a presentation of real truth without doctoring it up, adding to it, taking it away, or stretching it into something that it's not. He's not dealing with you in terms of that area of what we will call direct effective accuracy. That direct effective accuracy is specific to the selected elected that will be able to tell the contrast. Say, listen, if you going in on talking about the hell doctrine or whatever, once you break it down and you give the contrast of why their mindset is like that, why they it's not. See, if somebody is bugged out and dialed into the hell doctrine, if somebody's bugged out and indoctrinated into thinking they're going to get the laws from this fallen state and they're going to incorporate them into the new kingdom because they're under the impression that the Most High's laws don't change. No, what you got to understand is the principle of law is not going to change, but the intricacies of the law that will apply in our new formation of creation is not going to be the same as the formation of creation we're in this fallen state. Let me say it again. Pay attention. Stop whatever you're doing and just take a minute and pay attention. In the new formation of our creation, when we get into the kingdom, the laws will be formatted and applied to the new formation of our creation. The principle of law will always be remaining no matter what. Why? Because that's how the Father operates. Order, law and order. Everything that he has invented and had created has to follow an order. And in that order, that becomes the law of that order, which means the category that it breaks down from each stage follows a order that has to be fulfilled by that level of creation. That level of creation has to stay within that order of law that the Father invented and gave to his Son and the angels to create. Do you understand? The order of law is in the creation, so the order of law will remain. Now, the new formation of creation is going to have a different form of law for that area. Just like when you have a new spiritual body and a new body that is created with a flesh heart, not a stony heart, when you're going to have the law in your inward parts, you won't operate the way you do here. You're not doing that. Everybody, just like in heaven right now, everything that the Father has in heaven is in complete order. And not only is it in complete order, but everybody has a freaking job. Ain't nobody laying around just doing nothing. All the angels have a job. All the ordinances have a job. Everything has a function that forms a ability to show worship to the Creator, the Most High YAHAWAH Shem YAHAWAH. Okay, that's the situation. There ain't gonna be no wacky tackies and other bugged out people talking about, well, we ain't gonna be just doing nothing but sitting around and chilling. No, you're not. You may get to chill, but your ass gonna work. Everything the Father has in heaven, everything he created, everything that is created that exists has a form, a function, it has order to it, which is a form of work. Come on, are you stupid? Of course it's work. This is how it is. Now, as I said before, all things will be done decently and in order. If it ain't here right now, there's a lot of stuff in this fallen state, and ain't shit decent about it. So what makes you think you're going to take some indecent shit here and take it to the new kingdom, and you're going to do it there when it's indecent here. And it's not in order here. And he ain't cleaning up Esau's garage sale for no shit you going to do there. Because you're not, look, personally, myself, this is my feelings, but you know what? I'm speaking from a spiritual position, and I'm saying, in the spiritual world, getting into the new kingdom, I had enough of these Edomites, man. Look, I don't want to be bothered with them. If they're working outside the court, out the court, the temple, the court, the sacred areas of the city of where we're residing, and they're out there in the goddamn fields or wherever they are, then fine. I mean, these red roaches are enough for me. I had more than half of an eternity dealing with them. I can see them and deal with them from wherever they are, and that includes the heathens. I had enough of them. I don't need no more activity with them other than the shit they got to do when they get salvaged to operate in the kingdom. That's good enough for me. I don't need nothing else to do with them. I don't want nothing else to do with them. I ain't got nothing else to do. Let them do their goddamn job. I'm going to be fine dealing with my brothers and my sisters and the sons and daughters of YAHAWAH, YAHAWAH, in the new kingdom. I don't need these red roaches. I don't want nothing to do with them. I don't want nothing to do with the Hamites or the Moabites. None of them. I ain't got shit to do with them. I don't want nothing to do with them in the kingdom. If you want them, fine. You go ahead. I don't want them. I'm not interested. I had enough of them here. So when we get to that point, I'm good. Let them do whatever the hell that the Most High, YAHAWAH, has them scheduled to do. The rulership that they're going to be under, fine. We'll deal with that. But you know what? I don't want them in my house. I don't want them around my children. I don't want them around my wife. I don't want them around no damn body that I know. That's me. Now, if you want them around you, then that's on you. But I don't. I had enough of them here for whatever time, eternity. I don't need them no more. I don't want to see them on TV. I don't want to see them nowhere. In the movies, I'm done with that. They can just be wherever they're going to be until they don't need to be no more. I don't have no need for that. Now, whatever. I'm just saying. All right. New formation and creation, I ain't got to deal with them. I ain't dealing with them. They can go. They can stay out in the field, smell like vermin, varmints, whatever. You ain't coming to my place. I ain't got nothing to do with you. Stay where the hell you are. Anyway, see, you get me on a tangent and I start digressing, and then that just makes the situation. I'm already an hour into this, and I got to get some scriptures going in here. So that's how it is. We're talking about the sinews right now. This is what I'm saying, and then let me get in the scripture. I'm gonna just give you this. The Most High has the sinews of YAHAWAH by YAHAWAH in part are being applied now towards our new formation of creation, and basically what I'm saying is, when you see the things that are happening, everything is purposed to happen exactly the way it is happening, and there's really nothing for you to complain about. You should be joyful about this, and in fact, you should be championing the process of this going forward as it is, because that's what we need to be involved with. So these sinews, these ability for the flexation of the muscles and the action and the capacity and the knowledge and the stuff that's pushing forward, you should be happy that this stuff is going on. And you should be happy about the fact that even though you see some of the most bugged out, raunchy, crazy, so many different words I could go and bring up for this, lasciviousness and all kinds of debauchery and stuff that's going down. I'm not saying you should be happy to witness it, but you should be able to foundationally look upon it and say to yourself, this is getting us so much closer to the end of this system, so that the new system comes up and we don't have to worry about dealing with these wretched other entities that the Father created for their particular purpose, the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction and all things of this nature. And this includes jakes that are in the 2/3 capacity, and the 1/3 and the 144,000, the sinews are being applied to all of that. And that sinuization that is being applied is showing you all of the activities that are taking us to finishing this prophetic process. And this is what we want to understand. So in lieu of that, now that we got that much going, let's go ahead and let's get into some precepts to back up what we're saying here so we know where we're going. First place we're going to go, of course, we're going to go to Ezekiel. So go with me because that's where it talks about the sinews and can give you some clarity. Go to Ezekiel, okay? And we're going to 37 because it's talking about the vision of the valley of the dry bones, which of course is us, is Israel, and this is what we're doing. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, we're gonna start at 1 and we'll go to 14 because that's what I have from YAHAWAH. The hand of Yahweh was upon me and carried me out into in the spirit out of Shalaki. Carried me out in the spirit of Yahweh and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. All right. And caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. Now we can see this being the case right now, as far as how things are operating with the Father is dispersing the knowledge and understanding of how he's moving prophecy forward. So you can see the dryness, it applies to the fact that the truth is being burnt up by many different individuals who feel as though they have risen to a level above the basic understanding and the truth of what we have. So the dryness shows you the incompetency of individuals who believe they have this truth and this knowledge, but they suffer from accuracy. Okay, so just wanted to make it clear that. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? Right now, when he's saying this to YAHAWAH, and of course to the prophet Ezekiel at the time, he's not asking you, as though you have some say in whether or not the Israel or the house of Israel, including Judah and all 12, will actually, like, you have some power to determine that. You don't. We don't have any power to determine that. It's like a rhetorical statement, okay? And I answered, O Lord power, O Yahweh power, thou knowest. Of course he knows, because he predetermined everything before the foundation of the world. So he's just giving him a rhetorical response saying, Father, you know, because you already predetermined it, pretty much. 4, again he said unto me, prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. Now, when you're prophesying unto them, you're presenting, look, sweating. You're presenting this information in a truthful capacity that will give you the accuracy that if they are predetermined to understand this, they will wake up and things will go in that direction. All right. Okay. All right. All right. 5. Thus saith Yahweh power. All right. Unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. Now we know right now the sinews are being applied to the awakening of various individuals who believe and understand themselves as Israelites or Hebrews or Hebrew Israelites or in the truth or whatever have you. Now seeing the truth as well applied. Now, and ye shall live. So it brings you into a formation of creation that kind of presents you as though people say you woke or you are awake, but you're not converted. See, the conversion part of it comes when the breath is in you and then you can breathe. You can respire. And when you can respire, that means not only can you repeat, but you live through the process of the understanding. And right now, they're not living through the process of understanding. So if you're not living through the process of understanding, what does that mean to you in terms of you just being alive? Well, a couple of the Akim and the brethren and the apostles talk about zombies, or elders talk about this. People walking around like zombies. They are zombie. See, so the sinews are coming upon them, but in the same term and time, even though you have sinuization happening to you, it doesn't mean that you are breathing in a respiring situation where the understanding of the truth is accurate and coming out through you. Okay, so we just want to make sure we got that. 6, and I will lay sinews upon you and will bring up flesh upon you and cover you with skin and put breath. See, that's the part you're waiting for. We're in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yahawah. Now, some of the factors are happening, but some of them are in the process of happening. So they're not at present fully complete in terms of this particular process. Okay, so I'll read that part again. This is 6, where we came here, right? And I will lay sinews upon you. I will lay the ability for you to function, but you will function in a capacity of power that is not yours, but is put in you, that the Father did through creation, and even including the spirit in your soul. So when these sinews are awakened, these sinews are awakened upon you and will bring up flesh. So now the flesh means that you will do some things in this fallen state, and you will function out in these things. When I say function out, I mean you will take what you have, what sinews of understanding are brought in you, and you will, when you function out, you will perform and do certain things that are required of you. And some of the things that are required of you, if not all of them, will be given in a presentation fashion. Now, when they are given in a presentation fashion, that's showing the flesh that's upon you, and that will cover you with skin. So the skin portion of the covering that you are using is the appearance, the utilization of you animating that process of what happens when the sinews are awakened in your understanding and knowledge, right? And then the flesh of you operating in terms of actually going forward and performing it. And then, of course, naturally, when we talk about the covering as far as the skin is concerned, that is definitely showing that the individuality of how this seems to work. And you see that kind of happening with the way he has directed and designated the operation of when things first started through the selected elected, in terms of being awakened out of one West. The original drop happened there in terms of the information, and then all of these derivatives that started to branch off, pop up, and start giving information in a somewhat understanding of the knowledge of the sinew of accuracy, somewhat, some of them, and then others who are just operating in a flesh or a carnality based understanding, and they try to paint it, or they try to overtone it with spiritual, as though they're really fleshly driven, but you can see they try to add a spiritual attribute to it. And then when they do their presentation through their skin, you can see how it goes. And then you see the examples of individuals that are clearly sinuized, and as they are sinuized, like I said, their flesh is showing a pretty grandiose presentation. In other words, you see some organizations are very large, like wacky-tacky Christian denominational based organizations. And they're very carnal. The way that they present their flesh, and of course their skin, in terms of the way that they present their presentation. And this in itself is an example of what you see without breath. Now the breath comes in the truth. If you don't have the breath of YAHAWAH, Shem Yahushua, that breath of life that Yahweh breathed into the nostrils of Adam when he was formed, then you don't have real life connected to the spirit of YAHWAH, Shem Yahushua. You may be, I guess I could call you're animated, like like they say, zombied out. You're zombied out or animated out, but you're not operating from the breath of truth. So that in itself creates a problem when individuals who think they have it, but they don't have it. And so you see a very a sort of like a staggering truth or understanding about what it is that they're trying to explain to you. It's like talking to an individual that's intoxicated. They think they make sense. Drunk people always think that they make a lot of sense when they're talking. But, you know, when it comes to a point in time where the real reasoning of understanding has to be applied, they're incoherent. They don't make sense at all. So talking to a mentally intoxicated person that says and shows and thinks they're in the truth, and they don't think that they're doing anything wrong. You know, you got a lot of these instances that have come out recently in reference to you know, how people bring up certain hell doctrines and operating ineffectively and wrong when it comes to the Sabbath and when that actually takes place as far as the new moon, as opposed to these Friday sundown and Saturday sundown people. You know, different information that comes from various offshoot organizations that are operating in the flesh and carnal, and they don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. So you can tell that they're intoxicated in a drunk, spiritually deficient manner, and that's what you have, because they don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. Things that happen with the organization Sakari, and then how they branched off, and they have these offshoots from the offshoot of Sakari, and what happened with their leader is fine. I mean, that's what he's been programmed to do. He was predetermined and predestined to be exactly what he's doing in the way he's doing it. And guess what? I have no problem with it, because that's what the Father set him up to do. Just like the Father set everyone up in the organizations that they're associated with, connected with, working through, working with, and working on. You're all been predetermined to be exactly where you are, doing exactly what you're doing. So I don't have a problem with any of it. I mean, in fact, I champion the fact that you're all going through it, because that solidifies my understanding that the Most High YAHAWAH Shem Yahushua is in control of everything. So I don't have any issue with it. So as to the sinews of understanding that come up on individuals on all phases, good, bad, ugly, fat, skinny, you name it, that's perfectly fine. The Father's doing it. I ain't got a problem with it, okay? Same thing when it comes to their carnality and their fleshly activity, as well as how they present themselves through their skin, but they have no breath as of yet. Because if they had the breath, they would understand that the Most High, from a foundational perspective, is doing everything. See, you can tell when your breath, your respiring process is inhibited. When your breath is inhibited, you can't seem to understand or you can understand it maybe, but let me wrong word. When your breath is inhibited, or when it's shortened, or when it becomes something where the respiring process has some contention in it, then you have a problem with everything that the Most High is doing from a foundational perspective. He's got you blocked to where this bothers you, the way he's taking everything down. If it bothers you the way he's doing this, and you can't settle with just giving a contrast accurate presentation of what we understand as the truth through YAHAWAH Shem Yahushua, if you have a problem with being able to deliver that, then your breath is being the breath of truth, the breath of life, the breath of the ability to comprehend this is being you're getting some resistance from the Most High in reference to you doing this. So this is pretty easy to see that part of it. But in itself, let's go on what the Father says here on verse 7. Okay, all right. So I prophesied, so I presented as I was commanded. And as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking. Okay. And the bones came together, bone to his bone. Now, the shaking part you can see is happening because the Most High, what he's doing is he's awakening those that have to be awakening in the timeline that's associated with prophecy moving forward. Now, so you also got to take in consideration, you got to separate your understanding of the spiritual, the carnal, right? And the combination of what your soul is doing, all right? Now, if you understand that spiritually, everything's already been predetermined, it automatically affects the carnality and the soul and the process of combining everything that's happening. If you foundationally settled with the fact that you know the Most High has already set this up, then why don't you just go with his flow? He's what he told you to. He said, so I prophesied and as I was commanded. So you were commanded, you're being obedient, you're doing it. You're presenting the information. And as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to bone. Now, the shaking is the process of also what we consider to be a division, a separation of understanding. When the shaking goes down, that means he's going to shook you up. Like a lot of times when you watch someone and they look like they're preaching to give themselves a pep talk. Well, I'm preaching, I'm teaching because I need to pep up my courage, my heart, my whatever. Okay, so you shook. Why you shook? Okay, so if the Most High got you shook in terms of what you understand is presenting his truth, if you shook because you know he's using Esau as a puppet to be what he is, a vessel of wrath fitted for destruction, and he's employing what he does best because he's a perfect wicked weapon. He is a destroyer, and everything he touches and everything he uses, he's going to apply it in the process of being some kind of a weapon to destroy. So if this got you shook, then you don't understand the foundational understanding and limitations that the Father has on what? How he's puppetized. He's puppetized to do what he's doing. It's all predetermined, and you have to go through it. There's no escaping this situation. Okay. Well, all right. Well, no, Obadiah. What about the Tawah? What about that? The mark of exemption. Well, the mark of exemption is putting you in a position where your exempt mark entitles you to possibly being, I don't know, but it should be applied to the 144, the 1/3, meaning that you have that potential to be delivered via chariot, possibly. That's what I understand in terms of the mark of exemption. Why do I say that in terms of you can't escape anything else? Well, because first of all, our Savior, YAHAWAH HaMashiach, he was perfect. He was absolutely the elect of the elect. And he had to fulfill everything his Father sent him to fulfill. Hint unsent, quote unquote, the Garden of Gethsemane. What did he have to do? He got no answer from the Father because he had to finish prophecy of what he was sent for. Okay, let's go to some of the ones that walk with him. Could you say that Peter, how about, John, maybe Mark, maybe Paul, maybe all of the apostles that walked with the Most High Son Yahushua? And I wouldn't be excluding Judas because he had to perform what he was programmed to perform. But opposite Judas, in terms of this particular situation, the reason why I say that is because he performed this specific duty outside of what the Most High had him do for the prophecy going forward. But all the rest of the disciples who became apostles, would you say that they had the mark of exemption, especially during the time when they were operating and rolling around with YAHAWAH, with Yahushua? I would say so. I would say that at that point in time, the disciples and the apostles, Barnabas, John, go right down the list, Mark, Luke, all of them. Matthew, they had a mark of exemption during the time of the ministry that they were operating in until it got towards the finish of the prophetic process that was at that time frame. Because how did they transition back to the Most High? So Peter was crucified upside down. So was his mark of exemption? How was that? How would you consider that to be related if that's the case? Think about it. His mark of exemption now impeded upon him being crucified upside down. Okay? What happened? What happened there? Oh, I see. So anyway, my point is that I'm making to you is that they all had a form of the mark of exemption. Would you not agree? All right. So in terms of them having that, they still went out of here in a way that I guess you would consider that to be a problem, right? I mean, couldn't you consider that to be a problem, or is it not a problem for you? I mean, you tell me. You know, I don't know. I'm asking you. I see it as look. The mark of exemption applied to them while they were walking with YAHAWAH Shem Yahushai, right? Wouldn't you agree with that? I would agree with it. I would say, yeah, that's what happened. The mark of exemption was applied to them when they were walking with Yahushai Hamashiach. And as they were walking with YAHAWAH Shem Yahushai, that mark of exemption became apparent, and it became applied to what it was that they were performing at that particular time. So in us knowing that, we have to go through our own circle of sacrifice while we are here. Okay, there's a circle of sacrifice that we have to go through, and we will participate in that circle of sacrifice while we are here. Okay, I think you will possibly agree with that. I wouldn't see any reason why you wouldn't. And so knowing that that's the case, we have to understand that the sinews that have come upon us, that the Most High has put upon us at this particular time, they are relevant to the prophetic timeline that you've been predetermined to go through. And so as you are predetermined to go through this particular timeline, the sinews apply, and you should embrace that and say to yourself, this is something that's important. It makes perfectly good sense in reference to where you're going with it, right? You know, so we are being taken into what is our new formation of creation in that sense. Okay, I want to go now. Let me finish reading this. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next one, but I got to read some more of this. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. See, notice there was no breath in them. So if there's no breath in them, that means that the life portion of understanding that has to be applied at this particular time is not yet set in them, is set in motion. So they kind of zombified a little bit in terms of like what I was listening to Apostle Har earlier, and he had said something about that, who's zombified. But that's important to know that, because there was no breath in them. That was 8. 9. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith Yahweh power, come from the four winds of O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. Now, of course, we understand that the wind is in reference to pneuma, which is in reference to the spirit, which is in reference to the Ruach HaKodesh, which is the Holy Spirit. So if the Father is asking Yahweh Shai and asking Ezekiel to prophesy unto the wind, and prophesy, son of man, and say unto the wind, thus saith Yahweh power, come from the four winds, which is what we also see in Revelation, the four winds being applied towards the end. O breath, and breathe upon these and slain, that they may live. And so I prophesy as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Now, when you have an exceeding great army, that means that the army is, if it's going to be exceeding, it has to be a form of order in this army. Okay, in other words, the army has to be able to be utilized in the capacity of functioning correctly. You can have an exceeding great army, and if it's not in order, it ain't going to be exceedingly great very long. Okay, so that's pretty easy to understand. All right. And then he said unto me, 11, son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. And we can see how we are cut off for our parts, because all the parts of the house of Israel are not together. The two sticks aren't together, and the parts aren't together, in reference to how they're delivering the truth when it comes to the accuracy of the truth, which we have a bunch of camps that are offshoots from One West, and from them being offshoots, they are delivering their version of what they believe is truth. So all these parts are cut off. Our parts, we are cut off for our parts, right? So you can see that happen. Now, let me say something about sinews in the body, which kind of ties that in as well. There are 32 parts of the body, okay? And there are 365 sinews in the body, all right? So you got 32 parts of the body and 365, just like days of the year, of the sinews in the body. And did you know there's 365 supposedly negative laws that are in the Torah, in the 613? So that also, so if you look at some of the math that goes in reference to this, it makes sense. Just a little side note, but not I digress. Okay. 12. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus saith Yahawah power, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. Now, open up those graves means the condition that you're in currently is a dead state. We're here in captivity. Being in captivity and exile, we are dead to the truth in terms of the ability to breathe and respire correctly in the manner that we should be. So he has to deliver us from that, okay, in terms of bringing us into the truth. Okay, of course, that leans me over towards Jeremiah 30:31 in terms of us being taken and delivered to our land by YAHAWAH. 12. Therefore prophesy and say to them, thus saith Yahawah power, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves, come up out of these lands, these locations, and bring you into the land of Israel. 13. And ye shall know that I am Yahawah when I have opened your grave. See, I'm opening up your life. It's like it's a quickening. When you get quickened by Yahawah through YAHAWAH, you're brought alive again. O my people, and brought you up out of your graves. 13. 14. And shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, Yahawah, have spoken it and performed it, saith Yahawah. So I wanted to get that out because that kind of leans into talking about how the sinuization process is going on right now, which you need to understand. And in that process that is going on, you should not be having a problem like complaining about it, thinking that this is a problem for you. You can't stand Jake. Jake, get on your goddamn nerve. Well, you know what? That's what it's supposed to be because it's all predetermined to do that. So grin and bear it, buck up, stop bitching up, and then go ahead and present the information and do your contrast. Foundationally show the contrast of what you need to address in terms of where we're going and how things are moving along. Go with the Most High YAHAWAH's flow. Go with YAHAWAH's flow. Stop trying to flow against it because you don't like the way shit's going down. It's not you don't have no power to do nothing about it. You can complain all you want. You can do all the lessons in the world against the bug outs the Most High done bugged out. But you ain't changing shit. You ain't gonna stop him from being that way because he made them that way. That's how we get out of here. Somebody's gotta do that shit. You just be thankful you ain't the one that he's bugging out. That he got you trying to speak and talk about it, which is fine. Talk about it, but don't belabor. Let's move on. No, give the foundational, give the elect a little boost. The Most High is here. You're here to aid in the process of presenting the information to give a little spark, a little proof. Remember, Israel being a light to the world, especially to the scattered. Give that light, give that little bit of a boost to the selected elected. The Most High is waking up by being a good contrast presenter. In contrast, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Look. Example. If you find it hard for what I'm saying, I'll give you an example. All right. Let's say I see somebody that's really doing some major bugged out stuff, okay? And I said to myself, wow, that's really bugged out. Look at this, man. This fool here that came up and said that he is God or whatever. Okay. Now, do I really need to do anything about that? No, because who got him saying that? The Most High got him saying that. And that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, wow, look at this. Look what the Most High is making this person do, or this creation do. Okay. All right, let me listen to this situation and see how bugged out this has to go, because it's going to be spiritually interesting to hear it and to know that Father's doing it to him. And let's see if he'll let me pick up the reasoning behind why they're doing it. Okay, that's all. That's all your job is. Just because you say how messed up they are, they ain't gonna change them. Ain't gonna stop them from doing it. Do you notice that? You come out with a billion lessons about how bugged out the Most High got people bugged out, but you know what? You can't stop them. Just be the presenter, do your accuracy and the truth, do the contrast, stay foundational, stay on the fact that you know he controls absolutely everything at all given times. Every nook, every cranny is all under complete control of YAHAWAH Shem Shah. And you can just bring out the scriptures and let them know that and just keep it moving. It don't matter, because they're not going to change from the way they've been programmed to do what they're doing. And as soon as you figure that out, the less stress will be on you in reference to you transitioning and going through, being directed through by the Most High YAHAWAH Shem Shah through his wrath that he's pouring out on the whole world. That's what you should be looking for, and count it all joy. And that's what I'm saying. Okay. All right, so we know 14, he says, and shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, YAHAWAH, have spoken it. See, he already told you he did it before, predetermined, and performed it right on spot, saith YAHAWAH. Okay, so we see pretty interesting and able to do that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the activities of the carnality that the sinews are being drawn into, because we need to express that as well. So we're going to go to Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah 65 first, okay? Yeah, because that's what I got on my list here. Isaiah 65, all right? Isaiah chapter 65, we're going to start at 7, read 7 and 8, okay? All right. Your iniquities and the iniquities of your fathers together, saith YAHAWAH, which have burned incense upon mountains and blasphemed me upon the hills. Therefore will I measure their former works into their bosom. Now, we always talk about we are our ancestors, or you are your ancestors, right? Back to the third and fourth generation, roughly paraphrased. So therefore, as you can understand, Most High is showing us that all judgment starts with Israel first, the house of Israel. So everything that's happening with the bug outs who happen to be Edomites or Moabites or Amorites or Hamites or whatever. Yeah, they're all listed in what they're going to get and what's going to happen to them. But judgment starts in the house of Israel first. So we get the first absolute full-fledged ass whooping, which is what we've been getting for thousands of years. So you need to understand that. So he's telling you right here, your fathers gave you the same thing that you're going through because you are your fathers. 8, thus saith YAHAWAH, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one saith, destroy it not, for a blessing is in it, so will I do for my servant's sake, that I may not destroy them all. See? So he's saying, wake up, pick up on the clues, stay foundational, give me my praise, worship, and prayer wrapped in repentance, and I'll navigate you through some of this so you won't get such an ass kicking. You're going to get some of it. You're going to drink some of the cup, but how much you want? How much of the cup you want to drink? We're going to get to it. I'm sure we were. 9. And I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob and out of Judah, an inheritor of my mountains, and mine elect shall inherit it, and my servants shall dwell therein. So see, the Most High is telling you, he got you. But contrast, people. Really? Okay, all right, we're going to go back to Isaiah. That was Isaiah 65, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now we're going to, I'm going to give you Isaiah 14, This is just the order I got them. I mean, I got to go what he gave me. All right, Isaiah 14, okay, and 27. And it reads, for the Lord, for YAHAWAH of hosts, hath purposed, and who shall disannul it? Do I need to go any further? Do you completely understand that? For YAHAWAH of hosts hath purposed, that means predestinated, and who shall disannul it? You can't stop it. So whatever you're doing and saying about what you don't like in terms of the way he's doing it, you can't stop it. And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? Can you? No, you can't. Can't do shit about it. You get to learn how to deal with it the right way. Okay? All right, that was Isaiah 14:27. Now we're going to Isaiah 43. I told you I've got a precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, until we get it all wrapped up. Isaiah 43 and 19. Isaiah 43 and 19. Isaiah 43 and 19. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? Question. I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Now, when the Most High says he's going to do a new thing, don't be so superficial that you sound like a wacky-tacky where you think, oh, well, now the Lord's going to do something brand new. No. The new thing means something that you have not seen before, because I'm now presenting it through prophecy that will manifest the action that will show you the direction to go in. Do you get it? That's the new thing. You just haven't seen it before. It ain't new. You just don't know about it. Anything you don't know about it in most cases is new to you anyway. Isn't that right? If you don't know about it, possibly most likely is new. Okay, from here, we're going to Proverbs. We got a couple to hit there real quick. Proverbs, we're going to start Proverbs 19 and verse 21. Okay, Proverbs 19 and verse 21. And that reads, there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of YAHAWAH that shall stand. Right? So, that means the counsel of the Most High, if you are of a predetermined, selected, elected, his counsel will stand within your heart. Because why? Because he controls everything, okay? Go to 15. I'm in Proverbs 15, all right? And Proverbs 15, and I've got 3. The eyes of YAHAWAH are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. Okay? Now, I would suggest that when you're reading this Proverbs 15, I would suggest for your own studious reference, read this chapter. It's not that long, okay? I mean, it's from 1 to 33, and all of this is good food for your spirit in terms of getting you on track. Because why? Because contrast the upright and the wicked. See, I always say to you, you want to contrast stuff. Now, this particular chapter here, Proverbs 15, does exactly what I was trying what he tells me to bring out to you in terms of how you should be presenting. See, we have a pretty interesting habit where we will categorize a lesson and we'll just beat on just that portion of the category, but we don't do contrast in the category. Okay, see, that's the thing. Like, if you want to talk about somebody doing something that's specifically bugged out, the contrast portion of it is the control that the Father is exuding in that process being delivered. Again, the contrast in that category is the process that the Father is in control of delivering this particular situation. So if you say it, then you don't have people getting so confused about situations. Like, for instance, when people talk about what happens to individuals once they leave here, they leave this once they're unalived, and so what happens to them once they get there, you don't know, right? So you have to go to Scripture and get the contrast and present all the contrast from the foundation forward. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 talks about when that silver cord parts, when the golden bowl is broken at the cistern, the spirit returns to the father that gave it. Okay, so now once it returns there, what happens to it? Now, if you don't know, you can do your research. You can find out and get more specific information because the scripture's out there, because it talks about in Book of Samuel and Kings that we all go to the same place and we're at rest. But see, if you don't contrast this is what the Father's doing, you leave a category open to understanding that wasn't given. You see what I mean? So this is what the Father wants you to do. So you should apply contrast to everything that you say and teach. That way you're covering all the bases from like the Father does, from the beginning to the end. Don't just leave something hanging by just, I'm just going to hit this category. Then, whoop, that's it. All right, shalom, bye. No, put the contrast in. Who's doing this? And where's it going? Who's doing this? Who's he doing it to? Where's it going? And how does it end? And how does it end? Okay? Now, how is that so complicated? That's like you going to work and doing your job, and you did half your job, and you go tell your boss, well, I'm done for the day, sir. I'll be in tomorrow. And he go, whoa. What did you do? Because I don't see the end of this. I see you did this. Well, how did you start? Where did you start? Did you start in the middle of this? That's like reading a letter. Are you going to read a letter, go in the middle of it and start reading? Or are you going to go and read from the beginning, middle, and to the end? Am I making sense to you? This is good, Proverbs 15, in order to understand the contrast the upright and the wicked. You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'll get a couple verses from the top. Okay, verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. See, you showed some contrast there. 2, the tongue of the wise useth knowledge all right. All right. The tongue of the knowledge the tongue of the wise useth knowledge all right. But the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. So you're showing the contrast. See, the eyes of the Lord are in every place. Behold the evil and the good. That's what I just read. 4, a wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. See, 5, a fool despises his father's instruction. Okay, Most High YAHAWAH, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. See, if you don't understand how to use contrast in delivering your truth in terms of the accuracy of your truth, read read Proverbs 15 to kind of get a baseline for how you're supposed to deliver something that is involved with giving the contrast of something. Okay? Just so you know. All right. All right, let's move forward. We got to get close here. I know I'm getting, me, I get into this spirit. The spirit, wells up and I'm rolling. I just can't, I got to go where he got me going. All right. Shalaki, going to New Testament, going to Romans, and we're going to 8. This is one of the favorites. We always go with this one. We're talking because this is deliverance from bondage. So you want to be involved with getting delivered from bondage. And how you do that is you got to get the right information. Romans 8:18, one of my favorites. All right. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. So it's kind of trying to tell you is, all right, let's do that. Let's get it. Let's chop on it a little bit. How about that? For the reckoning that the sufferings of this present time. Now, what is reckoning? Reckoning has a couple of different connotations to it that we can understand, right? All right. Now, because reckoning sounds like an old country word, that right? The meaning of the word reckoning.
Here's the definition of reckoning: the action or process of calculating or estimating something.
Do you hear that? All right. Right. The action or process of calculating or estimating something. So when it says, for I reckon that the suffering of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. That's kind of saying, don't be bitching about what you're going through. Just go through it. Just praise, worship, and pray for the strength and the courage to actually go through it. And as you're directed through it by YAHAWAH Shem Yahushai, count it all joy that you can see foundationally that he's doing everything and that you're going to be all right at the end of the game. All right. So the action or process of calculating or estimating something is your reckoning of the fact that you know that this is not going to last forever and that you're going to make it through here. All right. So I just wanted to, we bring out words. We bring out words. What do you want from me? That's what we do. Okay. Okay. Going forward, I want to I'm going to go to 1 John, because this is one that we know and we love, also another good one, because this is what we're waiting for. 1 John chapter 3. And I'm going to start at the top, because we're talking about the children of YAHAWAH and the love that he has for us and one another, which we should be having. And if you are foundationally understanding the truth individual, you will know how to give love to even the bug outs that are bugged out by the Most High, because they're serving a purpose, a very valuable purpose, because someone has to fulfill that role. Somebody has to fulfill every single role on all sides. So the love that you understand is the love that you should understand about all of these different roles is the control and contrast, the contrast and control that the Most High has used to apply this application through prophecy. You don't have to be in completely, I'm just elated over everything that's happening. I'm not saying that, but you have to understand how the Most High loves and how he operates. Everything he created, he had a form of love for it, or he would have never created it. Duh. Now, because you try to equate his level of love with your limited understanding of love, then you will probably say, oh, no, he hate Esau. Yeah, he loved to hate Esau because he made him just that way. He made him the perfect wicked weapon, and he's doing the perfect wicked weapon job because the Most High made him perfect to do that job. And like I said, the Most High is perfect. He's good. There's nothing that ain't good about him. But the bottom line is he created everything for the purpose that it's made for. I've went through this before. There are certain things on this earthly plane that you probably find disgusting in terms of certain types of creatures, animals, this, that, and the third. But the Father had to love that thing to make it the way he made it, because he made it perfect to what it performs for. Hello? Okay? Is that so hard to complete or understand? Anyway, as we were reading, behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us. What manner, right? That we should be called the sons of YAHAWAH. Therefore, the world knoweth us not, because it knew him not. What? That means, they don't understand us, and they don't understand him, because they don't understand his level of love. That's why when people get unalived, or children, or different situations happen, someone you know, someone you care about, they're no longer here. You don't know him. And you say, why? Why did he take them away? Oh, they were innocent. No, no one's innocent. No, not one. But this is what he does, because you don't understand his level of love. Right? Therefore, the world knoweth us not, because it knew him not. 2. Beloved, now are we the sons of YAHAWAH? Question. And it doeth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, Yahushua, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Now, this is what I was saying in reference to our new formation of creation. We become that new formation of creation because we understand the reckoning that we are going to go through and the suffering that's applied to it that goes forward through prophecy. And as we get to that point, and now we become the sons and daughters of YAHAWAH, but we don't know what we're going to appear like we shall be in that new formation of creation, and we'll know that when he shall appear, Yahawashi, we shall see him as he is, and when we see him as he is, we know we'll be like that, but not exactly the same level that he is. Let's make sure you understand that. You won't be exactly of the same level of power of Yahawashi. You will be in a new formation of creation type of living existence, but you won't be exactly like Yahawashi. Okay, you will, because he has because even the angels aren't exactly like him. Okay. At some point he was formed a little bit lower than the angels for a process of completing something that was predestined. But now when he has been raised to the level of that priest sitting next to Yahweh, and then soon to be King of Kings and Lord of Lords on this earth in the rulership, you're not going to be sitting at the same level he sits, or King David, or one. Everyone has an order to where they will be. Okay, all of us, we all have an order to where we will be in the kingdom coming forward. And everybody's not going to be at the same level and same order like wacky tackies be talking about and other bugged out people that the Most High bugged out for that purpose. It's okay, but just saying. Okay. So again, beloved, now we are the sons of Yahweh, and it doeth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he, Yahawashi, shall appear, we shall be like him. Yes, we'll be like him a little bit, for we shall see him as he is. And every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure. So how do you purify yourself even as you are pure? It comes through the washing of the letter of the word here. The washing of the word in accuracy and truth gets you close to the purification process by you practicing the righteous acts through Judges chapter 5:11. And as you continue to do that until you are delivered from this exile, you are to continue to find the clues, go through the clues, decipher the clues, stay on the path, and let Yahweh Shem Yahawashi direct your path and your way. And hopefully you only have to take a sip of the cup of wrath. You don't want to hold draw. You don't want a tall haul drink. You don't want a big gulp. You're going to take some of the wrath. Maybe just a sip would be good, but you got to get on point with the clues. You got to start doing your foundational contrast and start presenting information in truth and spirit, because the Most High said you can only worship him in spirit and truth. So you're going to have to do it that way. And that's the only way you're going to function with it. Okay. It said purify, because and every man that hath his hope in him purify himself, even as he is pure. For whatsoever committeth sin transgresses also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. And you know that he was manifest to take away our sins. See, that was his purpose. All right, from the sins that he took away of us from being under the curse of the law, under the curse of the law, under the curse of the law. Okay, and in him there is no sin. Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. Why? Because you're practicing the righteous act as best you can. Whosoever sinneth have not seen him, neither know him. Okay? Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, because he's practicing. Practice makes perfect, but you got to keep practicing. Once you stop practicing, you're no longer striving for being perfect. Even as he is righteous. He that committeth sin is of the devil. Why is that? Because the devil in this particular is a deceiver. So he that committeth sin is a deceiver. You are a deceiver, for the deceiver sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of the Most High Yahweh was manifest, that he might destroy the works of the deceiver. Whatsoever is born of Yahweh doeth not commit sin. Why? Because you're practicing the righteous acts. Judges chapter 5:11. For his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin, because he is born of Yahweh. Converted. Practice makes perfect. Stop practicing, you no longer get into the purification process. Get purified, you got to keep practicing. That's the way it's got to move. Okay, we're going to Psalm. We're almost wrapping it up here. Psalms. Going to Psalms. All right, and I'm at 33. Psalms 33. We almost done, y'all. I know y'all be all right. You'll make it. Psalms 33, and I was starting at 11, and I'm going to read down. Okay, so stay with me. Psalms 33, starting at 11. The counsel of Yahweh standeth forever. See, you can't change anything. The thoughts of his heart to all generations. 12. Blessed is the nation whose power is Yahweh, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. See, nobody else is included in this process. Stop trying to go with this universal crap. It ain't there. It ain't there. No, you're not going to all be at the same level when it comes to the kingdom. There will be a righteous order and it will be a hierarchy. And that's what's going to happen because the Father set it up that way. All right. That's why he said for his own inheritance. He said, the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. See, there's a righteous order to that. Okay. 13. Yahweh looketh from heaven. He beholdeth all the sons of men. See, he see them all. Everything created, right? For the place of his habitation he looketh, from the place of his habitation he looketh upon all the inhabitants of the earth. He fashioned their hearts alike. See? He considereth all their works. When he said fashioned their hearts alike, don't mean that they all are thinking and doing the same way. It means that he's controlling them all. No one's doing whatever the hell they want to do. There is no king saved by the multitude of an host. See, no one's going to get saved that way. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength, and horse is a vain thing for safety. Neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. You can't get this out and do this on your own. It's all been predetermined. 18. Behold, the eye of Yahweh is upon them that fear him. What do you mean the eye is on him? Would that fear like in you're afraid of him? No. Revere, love him, have that kind of sovereignty and admiration for him, right? Fear him upon them that hope in his mercy. 19. To deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. See, famine of the word, famine of the food, famine of the understanding of the truth, okay? 20. Our soul waiteth for Yahweh. He is our help and our shield. 21. For our heart shall rejoice in him. This is what you should be doing about how he's taking this system down, because we have trusted in his holy name. Not some other bugged out name that's from somewhere else, but in his holy name. Okay. All right. 22. Let thy mercy, O Yahweh, be upon us according as we hope in thee. Right. Now, that was Psalms 33:11. We're going to finish up in Ecclesiastes. Okay. So go with me to Ecclesiastes 3. And we're going to start at 11. Okay? All right. Now, see, this portion of this wraps up what I was talking to you about in reference to the sinews that have been being applied, okay, of Yahawah are in part being applied, of course, now towards our new formation of creation, which Yahawah set eternity in the hearts of his selected elected, which we're going to read about, and we're going to finish it out here. 11. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Let me stop for a second and give you a little moment of understanding in prophecy, because that's important. The Father's outside of time. He is outside of time. Okay, we got to understand that, all right? And by him being outside of time, he has complete control of everything that is involved with time, because he created the matter that creates everything in the spirit world as well as in the physical world, that electrochemiluminescence. Now, when Yahawah Shem Yahushai, when Yahweh created this electrochemiluminescence, he attached time to it. Did you see that? I hope it didn't throw you. When the Father invented electrochemiluminescence, he attached the formation of time to matter. He attached time to matter. Now when I'm not saying like, I know people go, well, you mean like it doesn't matter or doesn't matter? No, I'm talking about substance and material. I'm talking about, what things are made of. Okay, he attached the formation of electrochemiluminescence has now a time associated stamp on it. Okay, so everything that's operating in the prophetic timeline and everything that's operating in creation, the Father's outside of the time, and he has attached time to the matter he invented and then gave to his son and the angels to create. I hope that doesn't throw you. It's pretty simple to understand. Okay, he has made everything beautiful in his time. Also, he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that Yahawah maketh from the beginning to the end. And I'm going to give you that again, because see, I kind of explained that before I said this, about how he attached time to everything that has a substance associated to it, elements of substance to it, right? Again, he hath made everything beautiful in his time. So it's all been perfect. Also, he hath set the world in their heart. Just talking about us and what's in us that has to come back in remembrance as he wakes us up. So that no man can find out the work that Yahawah maketh from the beginning to the end. But he has determined the beginning to the end. Okay? 12. I know that there is no good in them. Now, when he says no good, meaning the stages of time and matter that has to be purified. Okay? So I'm in a stage of purification that has to go over in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in his life, and also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor, it is the gift of Yahawah. So once he wakes you up to the truth and you understand the accuracy of what you are, who you are, and where you stand with the Most High, then you're in a position to appreciate the things that he let your flesh enjoy too, as well as your spirit and your soul. 14, I know that whatsoever Yahawah doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, and you can't change it, nor any thing taken from it. See, you can't change it. And Yahawah doeth it, that men should fear before him. In other words, revere before him. Give him the respect that he deserves more than anything else you can imagine. 15, that which hath been is now. Okay, so what is he telling you? If that which hath been is now, there's nothing new under the sun. We're going to get to that. That which has been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. A lot of people walk way over top of that and go right past it. They spiritualize it away. And no. That which hath been is now. Predestination. Went through this. It's real difficult to see how people could go on and explain and complain and narrate information about stuff that's going down and not be able to consider the fact that the Father has already predetermined everything. So everything you're experiencing from the people that seem to bug you and rub you the wrong way, he already set it up to do exactly what it's doing. It ain't no mistake. And so you coming across it and dealing with it the way that you do, well, guess what? You're supposed to do that. You're predetermined to actually do that. How about that? Okay. Isn't that's just marvelous. Okay. That which has been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and Yahawah requireth that which is past. So he's covering all of the bases from the beginning to the end and everything in the middle. I always say it. And moreover, I saw under the sun a place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. And then see, we're the only ones that from One West and the apostles of GMS that teach you the fact that this is the sequence and process of hell that you go through when you get sent back here. Because where else would you be under the sun? And it ain't the S-O-N, it's the S-U-N, the actual ball of life that the Father put as an ordinance in the heavens. Okay. And iniquity was there. 17. I said in mine heart, Yahweh shall judge the righteous and the wicked. For there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. See, all things that are dealing with the flesh and dealing with the association of prophecy has a time stamp on it. Okay, I remember Apostle Ramlan was doing a little lesson on that when he was away visiting with an elder. 18, I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that Yahweh might manifest them and that they might see that they themselves are beasts, meaning you're operating as sinews without breath. Okay, there we go again. Because beasts have sinews too, right? For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts, even one thing befalleth them, right? As the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yea, they have all one breath. Okay, so that portion of the breath is what they respire. When they respire, they're done. Okay, so that a man hath no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity. And that's completely speaking about this fallen state that we're in. That will not be the same situation or category or prominence when we get to the new covenant, new kingdom. 20, all go unto one place. All are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. 21, who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward? See, I said this before. How much do you know about when you get to the spirit world, exactly all that happens? Most High doesn't give a whole lot of information about that, but some of it is available. Okay, so you got to find it out. Okay, just so you know. All right. Upward, and the spirit of a beast that goeth downward to the earth. Question 22. Wherefore I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works, for that is his portion. For who shall bring him to see what shall be after him? Call hello YAHAWAH Shem Yahushai will. But that takes you to be predetermined and predestined for that process to happen. Call hello Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rakudas the water Yahweh. We can wait, Father, for new formation of creation. We know that it's going to be eternal and it'll be gracious forever. Call O Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Ragag with us. Thwada Yahweh, Thwada Yahweh, for your mercy all the time. Call O Yahweh Bashem Yahushai